Look at this.
Dozens of ships made their way along the river in St. Petersburg as part of Russia's Navy Day parade. Russian President Vladimir Putin led the parade, which featured 43 ships and submarines, along with some 4,000 troops and a naval aircraft. Navy Day events are being held across Russia, but the one in St. Petersburg is the largest in the country. 6 people have been hurt on board a Britain cruise ship after a passenger dressed as a clown started a brawl with other travelers. Witnesses say furniture and plates were used as weapons. Those suspected of being involved were confined to their cabins as the cruise headed back to Britain from Norway. 2 people have been arrested on suspicion of assault. Police are reviewing the incident and speaking to witnesses. 1 person is dead after a tornado touched down on the coast near Rome. The 27-year-old woman died when her car was overturned by the tornado. She stopped at a gas station, but the tornado flipped her car over before she could get to safety. The twister hit the town of Fiumicino late on Saturday night and into Sunday morning, damaging a number of homes and shops. 2 studies published this week say the global climate is changing faster than at any point in the last 2,000 years. Researchers at the University of Bern in Switzerland say historic major climate shifts were incorrectly assumed to have affected the whole world equally.
Well, my friends, welcome aboard. It's a beautiful day in every way. Out here enjoying Mother Nature. It's wonderful. Well, we're going to take our first shot. So, let's see what we can do. It's on his heart, but it's not dead center. Oh dear. Two of them in the same hole, I think. Oh well. That'll have to do. That's just going to have to do. Here they come. Anyhow, what we're going to do today is go over some bits about form. Now, listen. Since I read that book by Jerry Hill, and he's talking about off-center shooting, you know, how Howard used to point the arrow off to the right and below the target. So anyhow, that's what I've been doing. I just don't quite put it on, and it shoots pretty good. So that's what we're doing. Now, the other big thing, though, that it's not talked about in their book, but look, these are the steps that we're going to do. We're going to put the weak eye on. Okay, so we're going to turn the head so that that weak eye is looking at the target, and when we bring our arrow up, we are going to roll the elbow down until the arrow points straight at the target. That's all there is to it, right? Left eye on, roll the elbow down till it points, and when it points, get it so that you can see it's going to come back to your jaw, and then just draw straight back. This is not a rotational draw. This comes straight back, okay? But weak eye on, roll the elbow down until the arrow points at the target, line it up to your jaw, draw with a relaxed arm, and you know, you'll get your hits, okay? So that's what we're going to do. Remember, roll that elbow down until the arrow points right at the target, because this is not a rotational draw, this is a straight draw. Everything's already lined up. Okay guys, back in a minute. Well guys, you know, in the old days, people like Horace Ford and that, they didn't paper tune. They didn't do things like that. Every archer has a different draw length. That's what Horace Ford said. It's true, isn't it? You know? So every guy should have an arrow the same length as his draw length. Okay? So that's what is going on. Ray Spackman, I told him that I had shortened my arrows to about 27 3/4, and he said, aren't they stiff? Well, now I've shortened them to 26.5 inches because I shortened my draw from my back by my ear to up here by my back tooth, just like Howard Hill. So by shortening my draw, I had to shorten my arrow again. So now it's only 26.5. Horace Ford said arrows should not be less than 26. He thought they became unstable at 26, but at 26.5 it seems to be working okay. So what they would do in the old days was they would actually, every guy's arm is different, right? Everybody's draw is different. So whatever your draw was, they would measure it, and then they would cut your arrow off so that it was just about, 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch ahead of your finger. And by doing that, it brings the angle of, because a longbow is so wide, by cutting it shorter, it brings that angle closer to the bow. So it just helps a little bit. And that's how they did it. And all as they did then was found out wherever they shot, and if they shot right and low, well then they aimed to the left. And this applies to any kind of bow, I've come to realize. Even if you're shooting a recurve, with a recurve you're probably shooting right a lot. You learn your form, whatever it is, touch wherever you're going to touch, and practice, and aim at the target, and when you shoot off to the right, now just aim a little more to the left. Same idea as Horace Ford or Howard Hill, or I'm telling you about now, aiming off center. Anyhow, that's something to think about. And when you do that kind of thing, you'll get some hits. Okay? That's what you want to do. Aim off center. Keep that right arm relaxed. Okay, back in a minute. Okay, my friends, so we're going to talk about something a little bit different here, and that's 2 points of pressure. 2 points of pressure, that's what we'll call it. Now, when you're aiming, you have to put some tension on the bow, or there's no point in aiming. So when I tell you to look at the target until you see double vision, and then roll your elbow until the arrow goes straight, that's true. But there's no point in just rolling the arrow until you put some pressure. If you put pressure on there, then it will roll and you'll see the true alignment. Okay? So that's very important. Pressure and alignment. Okay? Now, the other point of pressure that's very important, Jerry Hill says that Howard would aim 6 to 8 inches in front of his face, right here. Horace's friend said that he aimed 4 inches in front of the face, right here. No matter where it is, that's the second point. Right here is where the bow has enough pressure, it will straighten you out. Right here, and it will straighten you out. Right here. See how it goes straight? Right here. right here. Right here. That's where it goes straight. And then you just come back straight and you're going to hit the target. So those are two important things that I want you to realize, is that when you're going to roll your elbow and line it up, get your eye on, pull it back a little bit, that's where it lines up with some pressure on it. If you want to aim, it's back here. Okay? Anyhow, that's enough lessons for now, and we'll be back shooting in a second. Well, guys, you know, there's a lot of difference when you're standing close or standing far in the width of your arrow tip on that target. If you're up close, you know, your tip is just a tiny thing on the target. I'm just going to leave that like that. It would break my heart to shoot another one. You know, really, when you're up close to a target, your arrow is very narrow on that target. But I would find that if I was shooting at something like, say, a coffee cup or a little circle, you know, and I'm back at 35 yards, well, really, the arrow is covering the whole target now, and perhaps the center of the target is just on maybe a quarter. You can divide your arrow into quarters, you know, like you can say that this arrow divided into 50%, and then you can have another imaginary line at 25%, and then you can have an imaginary line right down the side of the arrow. And if you're having to aim off to the side, perhaps you could aim along the side of the arrow. Or perhaps, in some cases, some bows, you may use the quarter of the tip, or maybe right on is in the middle, or 3/4 over the other way. And so you could actually divide your arrow up into sections so that you can aim it in different spots once you get, so that you can see straight, you know. So that's one thing. Of course, if you're up close then, and you're aiming slightly to the right, well, you want to see it on the right. But if you're far away, you know, it might be someplace on the tip, just not right in the center. Anyhow, that's just a little observation. And when you do that, you start thinking that way, you know, you get some hits. So that was that was so sweet I didn't want to shoot another one. But anyhow, let's get back to doing some shooting. Back in a minute. You know, guys, one of the most interesting things that I've learned lately is that Howard Hill was weak guy dominant. It's very interesting. If you turn your head far enough to the right, your dominant eye will also be looking at the target, even though you have double vision. I definitely turn my head far enough to the right now that I see double vision. I don't aim unless I'm seeing double. So that's what's going on. And I just found it interesting. You know, everybody's complaining about, oh, I'm weak eye dominant, and everybody says I have to shoot with the right hand, the left hand, and upside down and backwards. You don't. As a matter of fact, you want your weak eye looking at it. Because again, when that weak eye is looking at it, so is the right eye. And it just funnels in on it. So keep that in mind. And it's okay to have double vision. and you'll get your hits. Double vision, good for winking. Have fun. Okay guys, so I really do think that point of aim, gapping are very, very similar. And these days I find that I get better elevation if I look at the point of aim. Now, Howard said, look at the center and push it towards where the point of aim would be. But, and I do that a lot. You know, if it's at 30 yards, that's what you're doing because it's right there. But when I'm closer, I tend to really check it and check down here too. Because when I do that, I get good elevation. So maybe I'm breaking the rules a little bit, but not by much. Not by much. But the most important idea is find out where your arrow is shooting, where your bow is shooting, and aim off accordingly so that you're on. Whether you look at the point of aim or the gap or any of those things, or split finger or 300 or whatever, that's not what's important. What's important is to realize that you aim according to where your bow is shooting. Shoot off as far as your bow is off. Okay, so that's what you got to do. And if you do that, remember, start using your weak eye. Get that weak eye on. Because when you see double vision and you close it, this guy will be on too anyway, you know, automatically, so it's okay. And roll that elbow till it gets on. Get it lined up to your jaw and draw straight with your relaxed arm. And if you do that, you'll get to hit the target. And if you don't talk too much, you'll hit the target better than that. Anyhow, back in a minute. Okay, my friends. September's coming up. October, November, December. Back at work again. Just got to practice that once in a while, you know. Stay tuned up. A lot of people don't realize that Santa was a Viking. We were real fun guys. Tell you a little story. Sometimes people ask me, does your beard ever get in the way of your mustache or something like that? You know, your beard. Well, watch this. If I take my mustache and twirl it, now watch. Okay, here. Watch this. On this side, it's that long. On this side, it's only that long. On this side, it's only that long. On this side, it's that long. You know why? Because every time I shoot, the string brushes past my beard brushes past my mustache, and it actually wears it away. I never feel it, but that, 120 shots a day, and it actually wears it away. So, does it ever pull it or pluck it? Well, I don't really feel that. Yeah, sure. I felt it move more than once, but it doesn't really hurt or nothing like that, but it does wear it away. It's a riot, eh? Life is a riot, boys. Life is a riot. Why don't you try it? And there we got some hits. And got to talk about Santa for a while. Have fun, boys. Okay, guys, I think it's time to take a couple of shots and get out of here before the bugs get any worse. Jeez. Okay, that's it for the night. I've had enough of the bugs. Anyhow, we just took some 6 quick shots down there. So, let's run over it. Look it. Get your weak eye on. Roll your arm down till it goes straight. Line it up with your jaw. Keep that arm relaxed. Hold it on like it's a vice. And when you do that, you'll get some hits. But you can take some fairly quick shots, and as far as shooting at something like a deer or a man, it's okay. It may not be the greatest for shooting at little yellow circles, but you can shoot pretty quick with a bow, without a shelf, without a sight, without a peeper, without a kisser, without a plunger. Okay? Anyhow, you guys have fun, have a good week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.